Hi folks, it's Robbie here at Brenco Guitars. So we are way behind schedule, and I mean way behind schedule on this. This is a guitar repair shop and all that, so we've just had so many customers recently. We are way behind. We're so far behind, I've just gotten the email from the Great Guitar Build Off guys to say it's time to now put in your final submission and include your photographs and that, and we are not finished. So things are going to start moving ahead now at absolute breakneck speed, so there'll be very little talking from me. I may skip over a few processes, as in we're about to fret the instrument with some Evo Gold fret wire here. So we're just going to really blitz through that. We're not going to show you the process of every single piece of doing frets and that. While we have the neck in place, we're going to be setting things up now so we can route out our pickup pockets, get our bridge aligned, do all the routing operations that we have to do on the body, which are numerous. So as I said, we're going to start tearing through things now, and very little talking from me, and we'll just get the work done as much as possible. So hopefully we get it all done, and as I said, we're just going to plow through this, and hopefully follow along and see do we actually make it in time. So we've got our neck in place now at the moment, and we've put in a temporary note. We've just actually taken it back out, and we just checked all our string alignment and everything is good. So what we're going to do now is drill out our holes and screw our bridge down into place, and with that then we'll work out exactly where we're going to be putting our pickups, and then again we'll mark out our control cavities. We'll get all that done, and I said massive amounts of routing to do on the body, the pickups cavities themselves, the control cavity, the big coving we're going to be doing, our binding and stuff, so loads to happen there. So as I said, skipping ahead a lot, but next thing we're just going to drill out for our bridge, get that screwed down in place, and then we'll get our pickup template and we'll mark those out, and then just blitz through the whole lot. While we're doing that, we'll also be fretting the instrument, letting the glue we'll be using dry on that, putting that to one side, and then more routing. So as I said, breakneck speed, and hopefully you'll follow along, if you can follow along, if I can follow along. Alright, so here we go. So that's our bridge in place, nice and secure. Everything lines up and that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take the neck out, put that to one side and get it ready to be fretted, and we're going to mark out our pickup pockets and our electronics and get ready for all of that good stuff to happen. So as you said, breakneck speed, so break the guitar apart. Let's not break it apart. We'll take the neck off, and we'll get ready for all these operations now. For a guy who says he's not going to be talking a lot, he's doing an awful lot of talking. Okay, frets, the quick version. We've sanded everything up on the fretboard. Everything's nice and smooth and up to about, I think we're up about 320 grit. So we're going to be using this Evo Gold fret wire. So literally just lining up the frets with how much we're going to need, snipping them off, taking the tang off, putting them in our little block here with all the frets we're going to need, triangular file to open up the slot slightly, some glue with a syringe into each of the slots, and over to our drill press, and we're going to be pressing them in that way, and that'll be our fretting job done. That's the quick dirty version of it. So as I said, breakneck speed, we're going to fly through this. So that's all of our frets cut out. So our next job is going to be to nip off the tangs off the end. So we'll just press on ahead as we said, and we'll just try and get through this as quickly as we can. They're coming off nicely. So we've got a lot of these to do. What are we, 21 by 2, 42 times we need to do this. So we'll just keep going on ahead, and we'll just keep on nipping off the little tangs and getting all the frets ready. And so as I said, we'll try and blitz through this and get ready to start getting them in. So little triangular file here, and all we're doing is we're just opening up the fret slot ever so slightly, just on the top, just to allow the frets to seat in a little bit better, and if they ever have to come out in the future, this just makes things a little bit easier. So same thing again, we'll just get all these frets done. So just a quick demonstration of what we're doing here is we're taking our glue filled syringe here, and we're just squirting some glue into the slot. we take our fret and we're just putting it into the fret slot. Hope my hand's not blocking it. And just make sure that's almost seated perfectly. Then we come back with our Franken caul here and we just line that up, and that presses the fret into place. And this is just for demonstration purposes. We will be supporting it underneath doing all the others. This is just to make it easy to film, so don't worry. So once that's done, then we just wipe off the excess glue and we'll move on and get the rest of them done very quickly. So we'll bring you back when all this is done. So that's all of our frets in, and because we used the wood glue, we're going to leave that to set up for a little while. So we'll take the neck, we'll hang it up, and then we'll start doing some of our many router operations on the body. So the next thing we're going to be routing out is our pickup pockets, and we're going to be using these pickups here. These began life as a Far East import pickup, nameless, no brand name or anything like that, but we've taken them apart and done some messing around with them, rewound the coils and that, wax potted them and so forth, and they seem to be putting out a bit more output than what they were. So we'll see. It's just an experiment anyway with our own ones that we made. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be routing out a P90 sized cavity for these. So we've got our P90 template here. So just going to mark these both out. We'll drill down with our Forstner bit over at the drill press, and then we'll come back with our router and we'll route these down to the depth we need. I think we're slightly off on the side. We may have to use a chisel or something just to nip out a small bit, just to make sure they fit perfectly, but we'll press on ahead with these now. So that's our pickup cavities all routed out, and we've just taken a chisel and we've just cut a small channel on the side just to allow for the wing on these pickups. We've also drilled a hole through from our neck pocket all the way through both cavities, just to allow us to pass the wires through. So we're just going to do a test here and just passing the wire through from one cavity to the other, and the hookup sits in well, and we've got a bit of movement as well to make sure everything lines up nice and accurate. And the same again, everything fits here. I'll just double check with this one. Same thing, we'll just pass the wire through. And again, we've got a nice fit with a bit of movement to make sure things are nicely angled. So with that done, that's that sorted, we can move on to our next step. So moving on now ahead with our neck, and we've left this overnight to allow the glue to set up that we used. So it's a Sunday and we're not normally in the workshop on a Sunday, and it's also Father's Day as well. So we've some celebrating to do later on. So just to get this done, as we said, as quickly as we can, we're out here on a Sunday working away. So we're going to get the majority of our fret work done today, and we're going to use our flush cutters here. I'm going to cut down these overhanging fret ends. We'll get the frets leveled, crowned, dressed on the edges and stuff, and pretty much get the neck into a, you know, ready to go kind of position. We might even get some oil on the neck, we don't know, we'll see. Or we'll have to see what we're doing with our headstock decal, etc., and our truss rod cover. So we'll press on ahead now and just get as much done as we can today, and we'll see what we can do. So that's our fret ends all trimmed down now with our flush cutters. So we're going to come back now with a fretting file, 2 different types, and we'll just get them nice and smooth and completely flush with the surface. So we've filed down the frets now so they're nice and level with the fingerboard, and what we're going to do next is we're going to take our file here that we've got enclosed in a piece of wood, and when we put it on flat, you can just see there the file now sits at an angle along the side there. So when we do that, that will create a nice 45-degree bevel along the side of the frets here, or I'm not sure if it's 45 degrees, I think it's less. But we just do that and that creates a nice bevel on the side of the frets, and so that's what we're going to do now. So now we've got the ends of the frets, we've got our little bevel on. What we're going to do is we're just going to round over the edges just to take off the very sharp bits. Then after that we'll level them and we'll come back again if there's any more bits need to be rounded over. So we're just doing this now before we start putting on any masking tape or anything like that, so we can really get into the corners to get all those sharp bits gone. So we're just going to do this very quickly, and as I said, we'll be coming back to actually refine them after we've got things leveled on that. So this is just a start to take off the very, very sharp stuff. So we're just getting ready to do our control cavity here, and we're using the StewMax system. So we've got a 2-part template here. So we've got our first part, which is this, which gives us the actual control cavity template, and then we've got our second part, which just gives us a slightly larger cavity that we can use as a little lip for us to put our actual cavity cover on. So what we're going to do is we've got it marked out here to make sure everything fits, and then we copied over those marks to the front. You can probably barely see them there with the light and that, but they're just here on the front, so we know that nothing is moving into the positions that it shouldn't be. It's not going to interfere with our pickup pockets or anything like that. So with that marked, we'll go over to our drill press, and we'll use a nice big Forstner bit, and we'll hog out as much of this material as we can, and then we'll get ready to start routing the whole thing. So again, trying to go as quickly as possible because the final day for this is literally breathing down my neck here, so we're going to be trying to get a lot of stuff done very quickly. So we should stop talking and over to the drill press and start hogging out this material. That's our cavity completely routed out now, and we routed out our little shelf here, which will allow our cavity cover to go in. So you can see we've gone all the way down through the ash, through our black veneer spruce, and we're partially gone through our purple heart top. So you can see at the side there. So we're about halfway through there, so the top is nice and thin just here, so it should be easy enough for mounting our electronics. So what we're going to do next is we will drill through from our pickup cavity into our control cavity, so we have that ready, and then we're going to get ready for yet more routing operations. We take our big coven bit out of the side, our round over at the back, and we cut our 2 bonding channels. So as we said, we're moving along briskly. We'll get all that done. So next we're just going to drill through, as we said, into their cavity, and we'll drill our earth wire as well. So we're just laying out our controls here. So we've got a master volume, 3-way selector toggle, and a master tone, and we'll have our output jack coming in somewhere just around here. So you can see we've drawn on where our control cavity is on the other side, so we can get these laid out. So we're happy enough just to straighten the line option just here. So we're going to mark out the positions of these, and we'll just drill through and just make sure everything fits okay. So this should be nice and quick. Just over to the drill press and drill those 3 holes, marking them out first obviously, and we'll just press on ahead then. So just a quick test, and all our controls fit in nicely. We have our output jack is going to go around here. We're not going to drill that at the moment because we've lots of router operations still to go along the side, and we want to keep the sides complete just for bearings and stuff to be able to ride along the edge. So with that done, our next task we have is we'll have to make a cover to go over our control cavity here on the back, and we also, as we said, have our multitude of routing operations along the top here. So we'll press on ahead and do our best to get through it as quickly as we can. So apologies for the noise in the background as usual. There's a clothes dryer running. It's already a roasting day, and that's going to make things even hotter. But anyway, this is going to be our backplate cover. Got 2 pieces of purple heart, 2 pieces of maple, and a strip of black veneer. So that's going to all get glued up, and that'll become our backplate cover eventually. Once that's all glued up, we'll do the whole usual thing of thicknessing and getting everything nice and square, and then we'll cut out our shape on it, refine it, and that'll become our backplate. So we'll get this glued up off screen and come back when it's ready to go. Meanwhile, we'll press ahead with some other stuff.